I mean, how do I describe it? It's
Bold.
A light.
Black.
unapologetically black.
Very funny, amusing.
Caring.
You give great advice from a different perspective. Passionate.
Free.
Vulnerable.
A creative.
Sexy.
My girl is lit as fuck.
Always ready to spark a little something.
Genuine, very genuine.
Resilient.
Like sixth sense, otherworldly. If you know, you know.
It's so vibrant, baby. Hello, and welcome to Soul Vibrant, the place where music, history, and culture collide. I am your host, the wonderful Lady AC. And before we get into today's show, I just first want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all the support and the acknowledgement and the shares and the votes when it came to the Women's Podcast Awards. Thank you so much for everybody from like the different engagement or just reaching out to me regarding the episodes or just let me know you voted. I really appreciate you and love y'all so much for that. So voting is officially over, but within the next few weeks, we're going to learn the results, so fingers crossed. In the meantime, of course, you know, I'm just going to still continue to give you this good personality, this great content, great conversation, great music, because we are in the month of June, and June is known as Black Music Month, and I'm going to use this time to really highlight some of my favorite Black musical artists and really hope to put you on to more of a different sound and just really show you the beauty and diversity and creativity that Black people have when it comes to the different genres of music and how we beautifully blend them when we need to, engage in them when we need to, and show you we can do all of them because we created all of them. But June is also known as Caribbean Heritage Month, so I definitely want to get some of my favorite Caribbean artists a shine. Shout out to the Caribbean and the West Indies, all the people of the diaspora throughout that. June, of course, is also known as summertime, especially it begins towards the end of the month, but hopefully it's raining mostly now, but hey, Mother Earth got to cool herself down sometimes. Somebody got to do something about this global warming. So hey, regardless though, we're going to still roll with the times, roll with the energy, roll with what Earth is going to do, because we have no choice. But either way, I hope to see more sun and really get out and get into these festivals. I know the semester's over for a lot of people. Kids are out of school, so hopefully get some vacations going, or at least some well-deserved rest and just enjoyment. Also, what else? Oh my God, it is Pride. Happy Pride to all the people of the LGBTQAI and every identity in and around in between. Just want to say love you, support you, and you deserve to exist fully as who you are, especially in this world where they are consistently trying to make us succumb to negativity, darkness, really just a lack of humanity and respect for each other. The existence of this community shows how living authentically is so needed and so essential to just really showing that people are enough as who they are. So continue to love, continue to be who you are, continue to shine your light in this darkness, all right? And happy Pride on that note. And then, of course, it is also Juneteenth this month, June 19th to be exact. So shout out to Galveston, Texas, and Opal Lee for showing just that Southern Black Texas culture. So there's a lot to celebrate this month. And using all those different things, I definitely want to have that as an influence throughout these shows that you hear this month. So just a nice little beautiful blend of culture, essence, and authenticity. It is imperative now more than ever that we embrace our authenticity. And when I say that, I'm talking about having a strong sense of self, embracing, acknowledging, engaging, and collecting our history, our literature, our culture through music and art and business and information, because I don't know about y'all, but it seems like aggressively by the day, this misinformation is becoming more anti-intellectual, literally erasing history before our eyes or trying to rewrite it. Because there are people who even look like us, literally denying the existence of our very own political leaders and history makers. Really? Y'all coming after Harriet? Harriet Tubman. No, we can't have that. I refuse. As the Christians say, I rebuke that. What? No, at all. Because no matter what they do, no matter what they erase, no matter what they try to rewrite or take away, you can't buy this cool. You can't have this cool. No matter what you do. But we're going to get more into that into today's episode. So I'm going to give you a musical break first for this beautiful Black Music Month, and then we'll come back to start today's conversation. Be right back.
I be on my chulo, chill nigga shit, humo. Pockets getting swole on sumo. Everything that I put out be that puro, push that producto. This that pa mover el culo. This that gon' get back, gon' riff my energy. Jefe, don't kiss ass, I found those that brown nose get slapped back. I promise on Ronald, that Ronald, and Jack, that we gon' get ours, that's a fact, now listen to this. We get money when we want to. Fuck with me and mine, ain't shit that we won't do. I had a vision that with a driving commitment, that we'd arrive in the place where we be living how we living, oh. We gon' give it how we get it, all. If you ain't blessing while you collecting, then you ain't living pivotal. You a square bear, I'm a sentinel. And when she hear this beat, she gon' wanna split it open. Hold the pose, girl, and gonna show something. Hold the toes, girl, and roll the bull bump. And raging water, shake that shit round. Make that shit move, take that to the ground. Cause I ain't never slept on myself, so how come you slept on me? Cause if you knew it, then you would do it. I think it's time we get outside. Ready, go. She wanna hear the shit, give her feelings to dance. Make her left cheek, right cheek, yeah. What's a real nigga with mirror appearance and glances? Give you a false impression, these niggas applying pressure. And you know it, you know they follow suit. If you give a nigga an inch, take a foot. You Geppetto and stilettos. Got these niggas wrapped around your fingers cause you fabulous and ghetto. When you shake, bounce, split. How you measure cake by the ounce, shoot thick. You the kind of fine, you don't wait in line, you don't need a list. You just walk up to the front of that bitch. Might approach you at a slow pace. You can leave a boil on the ground, this ain't low stakes. I'm the king of the hill, ask a prime, selling propane. You're pure gas, flying fast in my own life. Boy, I know your whole name, you could just go and hold the pose, girl, and gonna show something. Hold the toes, girl, and roll the bull bump. And raging water, shake that shit round. Make that shit move, take that to the ground. Cause I ain't never slept on myself, so how come you slept on me? Cause if you knew it, then you would do it. I think it's time we get outside. You ready? Shake it like, whoa, 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 whoa. Shake it like, whoa, 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 whoa. Shake it like, whoa, whoa. Shake it like, whoa, whoa. Now, right? I think it's time we get outside. Ready, go. Get out of your shell, get out of your mind, get out of line, get out of trying, get some sunlight, get some fun type energy around Klondike, get some cool, get some run height, get some outdoors, get some outscore enemies, get some wind, get some right now, get amenities, get some head, get some ooh, get some what now, get some shake that shit girl, get some buzz down. So yeah, this right here go crazy. Move that shit, go slow mo. Shake that shit like hey. Sweet like Jamaica, free like a tica. Quiero que tú seas toda mía, no mi amiga.
And that was D Smoke with Black Beethoven. And D Smoke is one of my favorite independent hip hop artists, not only just for his amazing wordplay and lyricism, but What I love most about his music is you can definitely tell the influence of where he comes from. Of course, he definitely is representing Cali with that sound, that wavy soul that only Cali can deliver. But also, he comes from a musical family who know about classical music and jazz and the piano. And you see how he pulls onto that, especially with this song. Beautifully woven together. That connection of how we can do any genre because we created it, like I said, and really connect to it and really create a beautiful sound out of that. Which leads into today's conversation about reconnecting and claiming and owning our authenticity. When I begin to analyze the concept of authenticity, especially from the Black perspective, and my very first point leads me to the concept of the Black creative. Because creativity has been an essential tool of establishing our authenticity as a people. But really, when we look around the world of Black people throughout the whole diaspora, but specifically in the creation of America, our creativity was really our saving grace. Because that really set the foundation of us establishing that we were human. Because in order for these systems that marginalize us, that oppress us, for them to work, they have to create a lie to justify the violence that they give us, the misinformation that they give us, the treatment that they give us, the lack of respect for our humanity and our livelihood. We have to create a reason for that lie in order for them to keep doing it and to keep the power and the money for themselves. And the lie is that we deserve this treatment because we're not worthy. We're not human enough to gain rights. We're not talented enough to be seen, to exist, only unless we can be used for it. Especially when we look at the music industry today and we see just how especially Black artists are treated and constantly reduced to certain genres or have to create a certain sound or have to be trendy. It seems like, especially with certain genres, how the entertainment industry and the record companies produce a certain sound. So now all these artists that are coming out now are sounding literally the same because that's what sells. That's what they can package and modify. And anybody who doesn't fit in those boxes, those genres, they get X'd out. They get less airtime. They get pushed to the side. They get taken advantage of. Or what they used to call it back in the day, they used to be shelved or locked into contracts that kept them literally stifled, where they couldn't really move or create or do anything to break away from this industry, which eerily is reminiscent of how they used to treat us on these plantations. Controlling our every move, saying how we had to walk, how we had to move, how we had to work, how we had to go. It's so interesting how these oppressive systems bleed within the manufacturing of different industries in this country, but especially in the music. For example, the whole controversy with country music and Black people doing country music again, especially when we look at the success and drama that people had against Beyonce with the Cowboy Carter album and stuff. But really what the power of that album for me was that it literally showed the Black history and creation and even artists who are attributed to country music, such as Linda Martell, who Beyonce gave a platform to the world to understand her story and her history. Country music is nothing but the love child of folk music and gospel. Maybe a little bluegrass in there, but that's literally what it comes out of. The banjo came from Africa, and that was foundational in folk and country music when it began. But yet they're denying because it doesn't have that look. And we know that's code for basically it isn't European American. because that's who became the face of country due to it being commodified and taken away and packaged to the world. Linda Martell talks about it, and I'm paraphrasing it because there's a point in Cowboy Carter where she quotes her and she says, you know, the funny little thing about genres, in theory, they're supposed to define or have a simple definition of a certain type of music. But when you practice out, it really confines an artist. It really boxes you in. They do it to people in art. They do it to people in literature. They do it to people in the academic community. But constantly having to have us prove our sources and make sure we're thorough and make sure we are studying and hitting the right notes or using the right strokes or using the right paint or creating the different. And it's so much hoops and bounds that we have to jump through in order just to compete. But it's hard to compete when you see people buying into the commodity, buying into the consumerism, buying into the packaged imitation and mediocrity of the TikTok trend or the clickbait or the rage bait. Not to mention as well the concept of the streaming industry and how you have to have a certain number of streams or followers on social media in order to see a profit. And you notice how the people who are quick to go for the gimmicks, quick to put on the voices or the makeup or the auto-tune or digital enhancements, or they have the surgery to get the face or the body or the muscles or they put the extensions in, the added hair, the braided hair. They pose themselves in different hoods and different environments in order to take on the different lifestyles. And you see them get that success. You see them get that money. You see them get the accolades. So that leaves the creative wondering if their authenticity is worth it, is genuinely appreciated. And oftentimes that can really weigh on your ability to create, your ability to want to still be authentic, which leads me to the second point of the struggle of being authentic. The post that caught my eye was from this independent artist by the name of Vic Mensa. And I love his stuff too, as well, but he really has been very vocal and use his platform to talk about different social issues and different things within the entertainment industry and within the Black community. And in this particular post, he was being very vulnerable and talking about the struggle of being an artist that genuinely cares about the music and the things that they put out in the backdrop of constantly being up against people or industry that doesn't appreciate that work or doesn't appreciate that hustle. He was putting out some music or some project and, he was just asking for at least $10 for it. And he said someone had commented to him, why would I spend $10 on your project when I can spend $10 and have access to all these albums, including yours? And that hurt him so bad because he's like, what's $10? I'm not even worth $10. And it's heartbreaking on two ends because on one end, it makes you as an artist question the worth of your work. You know what you do when you're in those studios. You know what you do when you're writing and producing and promoting and editing and going through those different sessions of making sure this music sounds true and honest and actually like you actually give a damn about it. But then on another end, for you to do that kind of work and put it on a platform where people can access it, and then they treat it like it's just every other worker. It's just every other thing. Like, oh, I can have you and you and you and that and that. And really reducing them to just another listen. But what was rewarding about that engagement, outside of his vulnerability, because that was already powerful enough for him to be that vulnerable, put online, but to see his comments of that post and all these artists, even the independent artists I listen to, I played on my show as well, give him encouragement and talk to him, and they just, all of them just speaking to that and hearing him and just seeing the comment at the comment of these amazing artists having that same feeling, having that same experience. A theme in their comments, though, was this value of staying true to who and what their music represents, because that's what makes things last long. That's when all these trends die, when this system finally breaks down. What is left, or what will be left, is this music. Is this heart, is this soul that you put into it. And that is everlasting. And I think on our ancestors, on the survivors of enslavement and the Black people who've done that in their various different ways, how we still talk about them to this day, how we still acknowledge them, how they left this information for us to have. That's the goal of authenticity. Is that, yes, while on one end I can agree, yes, we do need to make money, we do need to sustain ourselves, we do, want to be rewarded and recognized for the work that we do. But what's the point of doing all that if it has no substance to it to make it last for people to continue to be inspired so they can live out their truths and inspire the next generation to live out their truth and inspire the next generation of people to live out theirs? Because it connects us all back to the reason why we're here, to the reason of us being human. But I do want to speak to that, though, because it is hard being authentic. It can run you down. It can mess up your mental health. It can be exhausting when you see mediocrity be rewarded. When you see these people who believe the misinformation and continue to spread it and engage in anti-intellectualism, wanting to be the gotcha, wanting to always be right, wanting to dive into the conservative, red pill, negative, patriarchal, misogynistic, toxic way of thinking. And you see them get these platforms, you see them get money, you see elevate in ways that if you stay the course, if you stay true to who you are, if you double down and go against the system, that you are annexed in a way for it. And so it really makes you think, is this worth it? Constantly having to prove you're worthy of humanity in a way. You have to prove that you're talented enough. Like we talk about, imposter syndrome and constantly doubting if we're worthy of being in places. I can be honest with you that even as recent as last month, I was going through and battling with my own version of imposter syndrome, not realizing that that is a justifiable side effect of living in this white supremacist, white insecurity system. That is me taking on the pressures of a system that is constantly telling me in so many different ways that I don't belong. I have to prove I'm good enough. And even if I am, that because I'm not European American, I will never be. Especially when we look at the rollback of DIA and, well, first of all, we got to stop saying it in an acronym. We need to say it out loud so they can hear it out loud. The fact that they are denying diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. The argument is they want people to be by merit, by experience, by knowledge. And then you see these ignorant, unprepared, unqualified white male professionals that they put in these roles. Like, I think I was scrolling and saw a message about the leader of, I think it's like the Department of Weather, and yeah, it was like the department head who controls like weather and communication and alerts and the funding for protecting and supporting people in those situations, didn't even know that June was hurricane season. He didn't even know there was a hurricane season. And he's head of the department that's in charge of doing weather alerts and communication. What? But you roll back diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility because you wanted people to be qualified and merit-based in these roles. Another thing is, especially when it comes to exhaustion, it's the sheer energy you have to use to address, to constantly correct and have a statement. And it's like, maybe you should don't even acknowledge them, block them, don't argue with them, don't say anything. But at the same time, we can't just have people around here just walking reckless either. Just talking out the side of their neck. And we say, you can't have people doing that because too many people get hurt and have gotten hurt and have gotten done wrong and have become victims of that dangerous rhetoric for us to not say anything. But just the active practice of constantly doing that is a lot. And all of that poses a challenge in really striving to be authentic, because you get to a point overall of, why should I be the one to do this? Y'all look like y'all having such a good time in y'all ignorance and bliss. What the saying go, ignorance is bliss. Like, y'all look like y'all living so well. However, it is important to connect and establish your authenticity. Because regardless of how much misinformation, harmful rhetoric, violence, destruction that is done, you can never get rid of the truth. And I think that's something our ancestors especially understood. You could take their names away. You could take their culture away, their loved ones, their language. Unfortunately, they even took their lives away. But that soul, that authentic, deep soul stayed. You want to know why? Because we're still here. The history, the information, the music, regardless of who's doing it, the fact that they all this still exists, and so we can still hold, we can still touch, we can still sing, we can still interact with. There is something within Black people that even the worst of our situations, we make look good. Because we learned that by being ourselves and taking our survival and turning it into something to live through was the key to continue to still live. And that's how we built the foundation of our humanity. That resilience gave us our cool, gave us our identity again and again and again. For instance, that's why every time they took one of our genres, we just created another one. Every time they took one of our roles, we just created another one. Every time they took our ideas, we just created another one. Every time they burnt down our city, we just created another one. Then they tried to poison our community, so we create communities within that. We created the cultures within that. Were some of them positive? Yes. Was some of them negative? Yeah. But of those, it birthed generations of people, descendants of people who realize that we need to make the changes to fight back.
Black leaves in the Mississippi River. Black leaves in the Mississippi fire. Black leaves Mississippi choir. Black leaves on the Mississippi land. And we've got garden cotton, we've got sons and daughters, we've got grit and glory, we've got mother stories, we've got strength like towers, we've got hope and power.
God made woman with an iron hand, raised her up on heaven's land. God made woman with an iron hand, raised her up on heaven's land.
Strength like towers, we've got hope and power.
God made woman with an iron hand, raised her up on heaven's land.
That was Kirby with Black Leaves, the gospel version. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. You can't teach that. You can't manufacture that. See, that is authentic. That is ancestral. That is in her. Honey, that's that sip, that Mississippi dirt road. Foot stomping right there. Shout out to Kirby. Shout out to all the artists coming out of Mississippi, especially with this resurgence due to the ultimate success of the film centers and really showing the world that Mississippi got something to say, honey. Which leads me to my last point of reclaiming our resilience. Resilience has become a word that people use to talk about people withstanding adversity, different challenges, and still showing up. But when I talk about reclaiming resilience, I'm talking about understanding and connecting with the fact of our ability to create again. Because resilience isn't, for me, and what I'm talking about, resilience isn't always about how much we can withstand, how much we can suffer and overcome. No, it's that in spite of that, we still choose to show up. In spite of that, we still choose to create. In spite of that, we still choose to love and connect and build and move and dance and film and write. You get what I'm saying? Because the more we do that, the more we connect with what is in us, what is around us, what is with us, we collectively learn the value that each of us have, the value that each of us possess, the soul that connects all of us, that cool that I'm talking about. Because if you noticed throughout the show, I've been saying that cool represents our identity. There's something that us as Black folks, we just have. That thing that makes them want to commodify us and box us in and reduce us to nothing. Because guess what? There's a reason this music is selling. There's a reason that they're looking at us for the next TikTok trend. There's a reason they're looking at us for the next fashion thing, because we have a soul within us that shows the world that we are so valuable that the moment we stand in it, we are the blueprint, the originators. Be proud. So I urge you today to connect, to love, to know that cool in you. That's why they want to say nigga so bad, because we made it cool. That's why they want to be in the projects and be from the hood and want to be from wherever. Want to have that country twang. Want to have that southern slang. But then at the same time, once they take it, then they try to say it's ghetto and it's not this and it's less than all that. Because honey, they know where it's at. We are the answer. We are the healers. We are the conjurers. We are the innovators. We are the businessmen and women and individuals. Because we're inclusive. Happy Pride. And we have to start seeing that in each other, as well as in ourselves. So my point overall, if you don't remember nothing else I said in this whole podcast, is that the purpose of this understanding that yes, we have gone through a lot. Yes, we are going through a lot. Yes, we are experiencing so much. But life is worth living because there is a soul in each of us that is determined to shine. And the existence of us being here and stepping into that is to discover how we are supposed to let it shine. How we are supposed to contribute to ourselves into this world. Authentically. All right. So on that note, y'all, you can follow me, like, share, holler at me, say hey, on all social medias. Facebook.com, Queen Lady AC. On Instagram and Threads, it is _ I am Lady AC. On Twitter, X, I am all capital I am Lady AC, and Substack is Lady AC. So just a heads up, next week got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. So probably won't be a show next week. So I will see you the following week. But in the meantime, y'all, please don't fall for this misinformation, this disinformation, this anti-intellectualism, illiteracy. Do not fall for any of that. Please find your credible resources. You don't know how to do that. Look up people who can find viable resources. There are libraries. Please support our libraries. Please support those influencers who are sharing that information. Please read your books. And honey, if you can read those books, audio books are legit books. They have text to speech. Have it read it to you. And that we have to arm ourselves in every way. Not just bare arms, but we have to arm our minds and our souls and our essence. There you go. Remember, keep that cool. And I'll see you next week. Bye.